Is it a hairdryer? Is it a washing machine? No. It's the Hornby Class 90. Well, hello YouTube, this is Layout123 with another video and another train review. Today we're going to be taking a look at this awesome Class 90 by Hornby. And, well, where to start? The last loco we reviewed was the 86, and once again, I can only compliment it on the detailing on the top. I think it's excellent. I mean, if you just have a quick look, you can see some of the vast detail, and just the same as the 86, we have the switch to convert it to picking up power from the pantograph or from the bogies. And unlike on the 96, which was just a fault with that model, not all of them, the pantograph on this one does work. I paid £25 for this model, and it was second hand just like the other one. And if we have a look at the front, you'll see just, well, what the previous owner has done to it. And as you can see, looking at the front of it, there's been a bit of repainting going on here, and there's no tension lock coupling at the front end of this model, which is a slight disappointment because I can only use it in one direction, but it looks more realistic this way to some extent. A nice feature is we don't have any working lights, but inside there is sort of a 3D lights sort of style, which I quite like, and Hornby seem to do quite often these days. If we have a look at the other end, you can see we have the large wide tension lock coupling, and as we all know, that's a thumbs up these days. And there is a little bit more in the line of, I was going to say detailing, but when you look at it, there isn't really a ridiculous amount more down either end. I think it's just the fact that we have the pantograph and all that down this end of the train just is quite nice. If we take a look at the actual pantograph itself, you can see it is very, very nice, and it sits proudly on top. Sprung loaded, which means we can have it sitting flat or up in the air, which is another nice feature that Hornby put on this model. On the side we have the running number, and if we run all the way down the side of the train, you'll see the intercity logo, sort of, livery, sorry about that, and the British Rail logo down the other end. The buffers on this model are not sprung loaded, they are just standard, but if I'm honest, I don't really care about that. I don't really see what the advantage of having sprung loaded buffers are. I mean, do you? If you do, comment below. If we turn it on its side, you will see that we've got the Hornby logo in the middle, but I don't think you will be able to see that. Just sort of roughly down there. And then we have the fact that it was made in this country as well, which is quite nice. Built in Britain, don't see many of those, mainly now it's China. And just a little comparison with today, I don't have the full model at the moment, but this is the pantograph off of the Eurostar, and plastic. And the older model has a metal pantograph, which you can actually use and is functional. I don't know how many people actually did use that, but you've got to ask yourself, why? I mean, why are we going backwards? I mean, yeah, the modern Eurostar runs a lot nicer, and it may have more detail. I don't really think it did looking at it, but why are we getting pantographs that are made out of plastic nowadays? Why aren't we getting metal pantographs anymore? Or is that just because the Eurostar is a sort of starter set, as it were, from Hornby, and this is a serious model? Can anybody answer that for me? Why have we got plastic pantographs now? And we don't have the option anymore with the switch on top to change it to run with the pantographs or without. I just don't understand that. I really, really don't get that one. Another thing to point out, obviously, is that it's only driven from the front. The back end is just dummy, there's nothing in that. It does pick up power from both ends though, and that is another great feature. And we have the traction tyres, which allow it to go, well, not go faster necessarily, but it picks up on the track much better, and it's much, like, actually, yeah, it can affect the speed, to be honest, because it stops the tyres from slipping, and you can pull a lot more with something with traction tyres than something without, as we found in previous models and previous videos. And now we come to the faults. Well, if you were paying attention at the beginning of the video, you'll know what I mean. It is the most noisiest model I think I've ever encountered. I don't know whether it's just because it's quite old or whether it's just this one in particular, but the noise from the motor is unbelievable. It sounds just like a hairdryer or something like that. It is really just unbelievably loud. And when we take it over to the layout in a minute, you'll see what I mean, because I really don't understand why it is so noisy. I just do not get it. I've opened it up and had a look at the motor, and it all seems pretty much as standard as any other motor, but I don't know, maybe it is just something between models. Another good thing about these models, and I haven't really pointed it out, is the fact that you can just take the body off by clipping it out, whereas with all the modern Helgen stuff and Bachmann, you have to, well, really do it on a sheet of something, because you're going to lose the screws out of it. This is quite simple to take the lid off of and have a look inside. And even when you come to the Helgen rail bus, I mean, getting that to bits is, well, they're so complex that it's not even, well, it's not even funny, it's just crazy. But yeah, most Hornby stuff is probably the easiest to take to bits, whether it be an 040 or anything along those lines. I've found Hornby are always pretty good when it comes to disassembling things. And I think I've waffled on for long enough. You're probably wondering what I think of it though out of 10 before we go over to the layout. Well, out of 10 I'm going to give it a 6 or a 7. Actually, let's say 6.5. Meet it in the middle. The reason I'm not going to give it any higher than that is because of the noise it makes, and when I put it on the layout you'll see it's not the best runner, and at the end of the day that is pretty key when it comes to owning these sorts of things. But yeah, if I was you, again, I normally do say buy them, but I would buy this one. Again, I think it's pretty nice, and you can use it for freight, and you can also use it for passenger services as well. It's a bit of everything, and I do have the Intercity 125, and I'll probably be doing a video on that as well, and you can use the back end of that at the end of a train if you wanted to. I might even do that for this thing. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to add the back end of the 125 to it because, well, why not? And it's one of those that once it gets going is pretty good, but apart from that it's not the best runner I've ever seen, but it's certainly not the worst. And that's pretty much it for today, guys, so thanks very much for watching, and thank you for all the people who are subscribing, liking, and everything else you can do on YouTube. So, thanks again everybody, and see you all very soon. Bye bye.